My boyfriend of 2 years, after countless little digs about my appearance I'd always brushed off, decided to escalate things by calling me ugly in front of his friends before dumping me at a restaurant, sticking me with the bill and yelling that a girl like me should feel grateful he'd ever dated me. I smiled calmly through the humiliation, paid the check, and woke up the next morning not to regret, but to 13 frantic missed calls from the man who thought he'd broken me. I'm Maya, 27, graphic designer, usually pretty chill. Or I was, before Liam decided to go full scorched earth. Liam, my boyfriend of nearly 3 years. 3 years. That's not insignificant, right? We'd done the holidays with families, mine loved him, his mom tolerated me, we had our song, embarrassingly, it was Ed Sheeran, we'd even tentatively browsed Zillow just for fun. I genuinely thought we were endgame, despite the little things. And there were little things. Looking back, they weren't so little, were they? More like blinking neon signs I'd chosen to ignore. Like how he jokingly critiqued my outfits right before we went out. Are you sure about that top, babe? It's a bit loud. Or how he'd get weirdly quiet and sulky if I had a work win or got praise from my boss. He called it being protective when he'd text constantly asking where I was if I was out with my friends. My best friend, Chloe, tried to warn me once, gently calling him a bit controlling, but I defended him. Hindsight is a brutal editor. So, last Friday, Liam had been hyping this dinner for weeks. It was with his boss, Marcus, and some senior colleagues at the firm. Apparently, it was a big deal, potential promotion talk, schmoozing, the whole corporate song and dance. He'd never invited me to a work thing before. His excuse was always that it was boring shop talk or he needed to focus. But this time, he insisted. Marcus really wants to meet the mystery woman, he'd said, flashing that charming grin that used to make my knees weak. Now it just makes my stomach churn. I spent way too long getting ready. New dress, a sleek black number I probably couldn't really afford, professional but not boring makeup, hair just right. I wanted to make him proud, you know? To show his fancy work friends that I wasn't just some ditzy artist girlfriend, a term he'd once used, jokingly, of course. The restaurant was fancy. Like, cloth napkins folded into swans and water glasses that cost more than my rent fancy. Intimidating. Liam was already there, holding court with Marcus, silver hair, expensive suit, predatory smile, and 2 other couples who looked like they'd stepped out of a catalog for vapid wealth. Liam barely looked at me when I arrived, just waved me over. Ah, there she is. Everyone, this is Maya. No arm around my waist, no doesn't she look great? Just an announcement. Red flag the size of Texas, right there. The conversation was excruciating. All acronyms and passive-aggressive digs I didn't understand. Liam was trying way too hard, laughing too loudly at Marcus's terrible jokes, name-dropping constantly. I tried to chime in a couple of times, mentioning a recent successful campaign I designed, but Liam cut me off. Maya's more on the creative side, less strategic, he explained to Marcus, with a condescending little pat on my hand. I felt my cheeks burn. Then came the food order. Marcus was bragging about some ridiculously expensive Wagyu steak. Liam, trying to impress, immediately said he'd have the same. Then he looked at me. And Maya will just have the Caesar salad, main course size. Gotta watch that figure, right? He winked at Marcus. He winked. I stared at him, speechless. Had he actually just said that? Out loud? In front of these people? My face felt hot, then cold. I could feel the eyes of the other women at the table flick towards me, a mixture of pity and morbid curiosity. I wanted the floor to swallow me whole. Actually, I said, my voice dangerously quiet, I was thinking of the scallops. Liam frowned. Babe, we talked about this. You said you wanted to eat healthier? We had never talked about this. I want the scallops, Liam, I repeated, meeting his gaze. His face tightened. Marcus chuckled. Spirited one you've got there, Liam. Liam forced a smile, but his eyes were glacial. She's just being difficult. She'll have the salad. He turned to the waiter, dismissing me entirely. That was it. Something inside me snapped. All the little comments, the controlling texts, the subtle undermining, it all coalesced into this one incredibly public humiliation. I felt surprisingly calm. Detached, almost. I waited until the waiter left. Then I looked directly at Liam. You know, Liam, I said, my voice clear and steady, cutting through the low hum of restaurant chatter. It's fascinating. You spend 3 years telling me I'm the best thing that ever happened to you, then you bring me here and pimp me like an accessory you're slightly embarrassed by. His face went from annoyed to furious. Maya, don't make a scene. Oh, I'm not making a scene, I countered, leaning forward slightly. I'm making an observation. Like observing that maybe the reason you need to control what I eat is because you feel so wildly out of control in your own sad attempt to climb this corporate ladder. Marcus choked on his wine. One of the wives gasped. Liam looked like he wanted to vaporize me. You are unbelievable, he hissed, his voice low and venomous. Acting like trash in front of my boss. Trash? I laughed, a short, sharp sound devoid of humor. Right. Because ordering scallops is trashy, but publicly negging your girlfriend is peak professionalism? I pushed my chair back, the leg scraping slightly on the polished floor. You know what? I suddenly have zero appetite. For this dinner, or for this. I gestured vaguely between us. Liam stood up abruptly, knocking his chair slightly. His face was mottled red. Fine. You want to act like an ungrateful child? Go. But don't expect me to come crawling back. He reached into his pocket, pulled out his wallet, and threw 2 $20 bills onto the table. For your salad. Then he turned to Marcus. Apologies, Marcus. Seems I misjudged her tolerance for adult company. And then, the line that echoed the snippet from the PDF, the final twist of the knife. Honestly, he said, loud enough for the nearby tables to hear, gesturing towards me with a sneer. Someone like you should just be grateful I stuck around this long. You're not exactly pulling in offers, are you? He laughed, a harsh, ugly sound. He turned and walked away. Just left. Leaving me there, stunned, with his boss, his colleagues, a swan napkin, and 2 insulting 20s on the table. The silence was deafening. Marcus cleared his throat awkwardly. The wives exchanged horrified glances. I should have been devastated. Crying. Humiliated beyond repair. And part of me was, deep down. But mostly? I felt this strange, icy rage. And underneath that, a tiny spark of something else. Relief? I picked up the 220s. I looked at Marcus, whose smug expression had been replaced by mild panic. Well, I said, tucking the money into my clutch. Looks like Liam's promotion prospects just took a nosedive. Pity. I gave him a tight, insincere smile. Enjoy your steak. I stood up, smoothed down my dress, and walked out of that restaurant with my head held high. I didn't look back. I hailed a cab, went home, ordered the greasiest pizza I could find, and ate half of it directly from the box while watching terrible reality TV. The other half of me definitely cried. A lot. Ugly crying. Mascara everywhere. But even through the tears, that little spark of rage kept burning. He wouldn't get away with this. He just wouldn't. First update, the digital aftermath. Okay, so it's been a week. A week of oscillating wildly between wanting to key Liam's stupidly expensive car and wanting to crawl into bed and hibernate until 2026. The initial shock wore off, replaced by a simmering fury I've been channeling into rage cleaning my apartment and listening to way too much Alanis Morissette. The morning after the dinner party from hell was something. I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck carrying a full load of humiliation. My phone, which I'd put on silent, was practically glowing. 13 missed calls from Liam. 27 texts. 27. They started angry. Liam, 1:15 a.m., where the hell did you go? You embarrassed me. Liam, 1:17 a.m., pick up your phone Maya now. Liam, 1:25 a.m., you completely ruined everything tonight. Marcus thinks you're unstable. Then they shifted to vaguely apologetic, but still blaming me, naturally. Liam, 2:05 a.m., okay look maybe I overreacted a bit. But you pushed me. Liam, 2:10 a.m., it was a high-pressure situation. You should have understood that. Liam, 2:30 a.m., can we just talk? Please. And then, pure desperation mixed with classic manipulation. Liam, 3 a.m., Maya I miss you. This is stupid. Liam, 3:15 a.m., are you with someone else? Is that what this is about? Spoiler, no. Unless you count the pizza delivery guy. Liam, 4 a.m., I can't sleep. Please just answer me. I love you. I love you. After publicly calling me basically worthless and leaving me stranded? The audacity. I screenshotted the whole pathetic saga, partly as evidence for my inevitable therapy sessions, partly because, well, you'll see. I didn't respond. Not a word. My friend Chloe, bless her cynical heart, came over with emergency wine and pastries the next morning. I showed her the texts. Wow, she said, scrolling through them with a grim fascination. He really went through all 5 stages of douchebaggery in 3 hours. Right? I slumped onto my couch. What do I even do? Step 1, block him, she said decisively. Step 2, we draft a strongly worded letter to that restaurant demanding free scallops for life as emotional compensation. Step 3, more wine. I followed step 1 immediately. Blocking him felt powerful. Like slamming a door in his smug face. Step 2 was tempting, but probably futile. Step 3 was non-negotiable. But Liam wasn't done. Blocked on my phone? Fine. He resorted to email. Long, rambling emails oscillating between blaming me, if you hadn't been so confrontational, and begging for forgiveness. I was an idiot. I wasn't thinking. Marcus puts me under so much pressure. He even tried DMing me on Instagram, blocked. Then LinkedIn. LinkedIn. Who tries to reconcile via LinkedIn? Blocked again. The weirdest part? Mutual friends started reaching out. Tentatively. Mostly variations of hey, heard things went sideways with Liam. You okay? But a couple were clearly Team Liam. Like Sarah, who's married to one of Liam's colleagues, one of the vapid wealth couples from the dinner. Her text, hey Maya, just checking in. Liam's really torn up. Said there was a big misunderstanding Friday? Hope you guys can work it out. He really cares about you. A misunderstanding? My blood boiled. I wanted to send her the screenshots, the details, the sheer calculated cruelty of it all. But Chloe advised caution. Don't show your hand yet, she warned. He's trying to control the narrative. Let him dig his own grave. She was right. This wasn't just a breakup anymore, it was a PR campaign, and Liam was desperately trying to spin himself as the victim. Fine. Let him try. I started documenting everything. Saving the emails, the blocked DM notifications, noting down who contacted me and what they said. It felt strategic. Less like a heartbroken dumpy, more like a general preparing for battle. The anger was still there, bubbling under the surface. But now it felt focused. He didn't just break my heart, he tried to break my reputation and my self-esteem in front of people who mattered to him. He underestimated me. He thought I'd crumble, come crawling back, desperate for his approval. He thought wrong. I spent the rest of the week throwing myself into work, creating some of my best designs yet. Turns out, righteous fury is an excellent motivator. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected because Liam always made passive-aggressive comments about them. I even reactivated my old online dating profile, not because I'm ready to date, but just to symbolically flip him the bird. He thought calling me pathetic and leaving me would be the end of the story. He had no idea it was just the beginning of mine. Second update, the plot thickens, and gets weirder alright. It's been about 3 weeks since the infamous dinner debacle. Things have escalated in ways I genuinely did not anticipate. Apparently, Liam's strategy has evolved from desperate text to full-blown smear campaign mixed with bizarre attempts at reconciliation. It's like whiplash, but emotionally exhausting. So, after the LinkedIn incident, seriously, LinkedIn? Liam went quiet for a few days. I almost let myself relax. Maybe he'd finally gotten the message? Maybe he'd crawled back under whatever rock he slithered out from? Nope. Wishful thinking. He started sending gifts. Not like apology flowers. Weird, targeted gifts. First, a cookbook titled Healthy Meals for a Slimmer You. Delivered to my office. My colleagues saw it. The subtle implication wasn't lost on anyone. I threw it directly into the recycling bin, but the sting lingered. It was his way of doubling down on the watching your figure comment, under the guise of a thoughtful present. The manipulation was nauseating. Next, a gym membership voucher. To one of those ridiculously intense CrossFit places he used to try and drag me to. Included was a handwritten note, thought we could try getting fit together again? Miss our workouts. LR workouts consisted of him criticizing my form and me wanting to hit him with a kettlebell. Hard pass. Voucher went in the shredder. Chloe was incandescent with rage on my behalf. This isn't apologizing, Maya. This is psychological warfare disguised as crap gifts. I know, I sighed, rubbing my temples. It's like he's trying to reinforce the idea that I was the problem. That I needed fixing. But the smear campaign was running concurrently. I started hearing whispers back from mutual acquaintances. Apparently, Liam's version of the story was that I'd had a complete meltdown at the restaurant because I was insecure about his success and jealous of his colleagues' wives. He claimed he tried to calm me down, but I'd become hysterical, thrown food. I absolutely did not, and stormed out, leaving him heartbroken and confused. He was painting himself as the patient, long-suffering boyfriend dealing with an unstable partner. The sheer audacity was breathtaking. He was twisting reality into a pretzel to fit his narrative. Sarah, the wife of his colleague, even texted me again, Maya, I don't want to take sides, but maybe you should consider therapy? Liam is worried about your emotional state. I almost threw my phone across the room. Worried about my emotional state? The nerve. This time, I didn't hold back, entirely. I texted her back, Sarah, Liam's version is pure fiction designed to save face after he publicly humiliated me. His concern is manipulation. I suggest you question his motives before offering unsolicited advice. She left me on read. Fine by me. If people wanted to believe his lies, that was their choice. But it still hurt, knowing he was actively trying to poison the well. Then came the Instagram incident. Liam, despite being blocked, somehow managed to tag me. Or rather, he tagged a photo of me. An old one, from a vacation 2 years ago. Me in a bikini. Not my most flattering angle, frankly. He posted it on his own profile, which I obviously couldn't see, but Chloe, performing vital reconnaissance, sent me a screenshot. The caption? Hashtag TBT to happier times before things got complicated. Some people just can't handle the pressure. Wishing her well, though. Hashtag moving on, hashtag less on learned, hashtag know your worth. Wishing her well? While posting a slightly embarrassing photo of me without my consent and implying I was the problem? Oh, hell no. That was a step too far. This wasn't just about our breakup anymore. This was about him trying to control my image, my body, my narrative, even after we were done. Using a private photo against me? That crossed the line. Okay, Chloe, I said, my voice dangerously calm after she showed me the post. Operation document, everything is now shifting to Operation burn it all down. I've got the virtual matches, she replied grimly. What's the plan? The plan was forming. It involved those screenshots I'd saved. It involved the emails. It involved maybe, just maybe, letting Marcus, Liam's boss, know exactly what kind of employee he was grooming for promotion. Liam thought he could play dirty? Fine. Two could play that game. He wanted to talk about hashtag know your worth? He was about to find out exactly what mine was. The vulnerability I'd felt initially was hardening into resolve. He poked the bear. Now he was going to deal with the claws. Third update, gathering receipts and the unexpected ally. The Instagram post was the final straw. Liam had escalated from pathetic ex to vindictive manipulator, and I was done playing defense. It was time to go on the offensive, but smartly. Chloe and I huddled like wartime strategists over takeout noodles. Okay, we need irrefutable proof, Chloe declared, tapping furiously on her laptop. Screenshots of the texts, the emails, the LinkedIn message, categorize them by theme, humiliation, manipulation, gaslighting, unsolicited body commentary. Got 'em all, I confirmed, pulling up the meticulously organized folders on my own laptop. Dated, time-stamped, the whole shebang. Good. Now, the Instagram post. We need a record of that before he potentially deletes it, she instructed. I already had the screenshot she sent, plus I asked another mutual friend, one firmly on Team Maya, to grab one too, just for redundancy. And Sarah's texts? The misunderstanding and therapy ones? Saved, I nodded. Proof he's actively spreading a false narrative. We spent the next hour compiling everything into a clear, chronological timeline. Seeing it all laid out, the initial breakup, the insulting comments, the barrage of texts, the creepy gifts, the lies to friends, the non-consensual photo usage, was sickening, but also validating. I wasn't crazy. He was the problem. So, what's the endgame? Chloe asked, leaning back. Do we just leak this to the group chat? Go nuclear on social media? I considered it. The petty part of me desperately wanted to. But the strategic part, the part that had been slowly growing stronger over the past few weeks, knew that wouldn't achieve the right outcome. Liam cared about one thing above all else, his career. His image at the firm. Marcus. No, I said slowly. Social media is messy. It invites debate, lets him play the victim more. I need a surgical strike. I need to hit him where it really hurts. His job, Chloe breathed, eyes widening. You're going to talk to Marcus? Maybe not talk, I mused. Maybe just share some relevant information. Anonymously, perhaps? Or not. I haven't decided. It felt risky. What if Marcus didn't care? What if he sided with Liam? But Liam had brought his work life into our personal drama by humiliating me in front of his boss. He opened that door. Before I could fully flesh out the Marcus plan, something unexpected happened. I got an email. Not from Liam, but from, email address removed. The subject line, dinner on Friday? My first thought was spam, or maybe another Liam sock puppet account. But the name clicked. Amelia Winter. She was one of the wives at the dinner party from hell. The quiet one, married to the guy who wasn't Marcus. I remembered her looking uncomfortable, maybe even sympathetic. Curiosity piqued, I replied cautiously, Hi Amelia, Maya here. Thanks for reaching out. Could you clarify what this is regarding? Her reply came quickly, Hi Maya, I understand your caution. Friday night was uncomfortable. I heard Liam's version of events afterwards, and then I saw his Instagram post yesterday. Something isn't sitting right with me. Would you be open to meeting for coffee? My treat. Off the record. An ally? From inside the lion's den? This was Interesting. Risky, maybe, but potentially very useful. What if she knew more about Liam's behavior at work? What if she could corroborate how manipulative he was? Chloe, look at this, I said, forwarding the email. Chloe read it, her eyebrows shooting up. Whoa. Okay. This could be huge. Or it could be a trap. My gut says it's genuine, I replied. She seemed genuinely horrified that night. All right, Chloe conceded. Go. Meet her. But be careful. Record the conversation if it's legal in this state. It was. Don't reveal your whole hand, just listen. See what she offers. So, I agreed to meet Amelia. We chose a neutral coffee shop, far from both our usual haunts. I went in feeling nervous but resolute, my phone discreetly recording audio in my bag. Amelia was already there, looking chic but stressed. Maya, thank you for coming, she said, offering a hesitant smile. I feel a bit cloak and dagger. Me too, I admitted. Thanks for reaching out. Honestly, I felt pretty isolated. I can imagine, she sighed, stirring her latte. Look, I'll be blunt. Liam has been painting a very specific picture of you at the office since Friday. Unstable, jealous, prone to outbursts. Marcus buys it, or pretends to, because Liam is his current golden boy. My husband. He's less convinced, but he keeps his head down. My stomach tightened. So, the lies are working? To an extent, Amelia admitted. But that Instagram post. That felt different. It felt cruel. And calculated. And honestly? It reminded me of how he talks about women at work sometimes. Dismissive. A bit misogynistic, frankly. Nothing overt enough for HR, but a pattern. Bingo. This was exactly what I needed. Someone who saw behind the mask. He always made comments, I confided, deciding to share a little. About my appearance, my career. Always framed as helpful criticism. The dinner was just the first time he did it so publicly. Amelia nodded slowly. That fits. He presents himself as this charming go-getter, but there's an arrogance. A sense of entitlement. Especially since he's been angling for this promotion. He sees Marcus as his ticket, and anyone or anything perceived as a threat or an embarrassment gets thrown under the bus, I finished grimly. Exactly, she said. And using that photo? That's low, even for him. My husband and I argued about it last night. I told him it's character, not just a bad breakup. We talked for another hour. Amelia didn't have concrete proof of workplace misconduct, but she painted a picture of Liam's character that perfectly aligned with my experience. She confirmed he was desperate for the promotion and terrified of anything jeopardizing it. She also mentioned Marcus had a notoriously fragile ego and hated office drama or anything that made the firm look bad publicly. As we were leaving, Amelia paused. Maya, I don't know what you're planning, but if you do decide to share your side of the story, perhaps directly with Marcus, framing it as concern for the firm's reputation, given Liam's lack of judgment and potentially damaging online behavior. Well, Marcus listens to things like that. She gave me a knowing look. Liam using company time and resources, like his work phone for those texts, maybe? To harass an ex, posting problematic content online that could reflect badly on the firm. Those are angles Marcus might actually care about, more than just a messy breakup. She was giving me the playbook. How to frame it not as a personal vendetta, though it partly was, but as a professional liability issue. I walked away from that coffee meeting feeling lighter, stronger. I had the receipts. I had insider knowledge. And I had an unexpected ally. Liam thought he was controlling the narrative? He had no idea the story I was about to write. The next chapter wasn't going to be about my humiliation, it was going to be about his consequences. Final update, The Reckoning. Armed with Amelia's insights and my meticulously compiled dossier of Liam's post-breakup meltdown, I felt ready. Not just angry, not just hurt, but strategically prepared. This wasn't just about revenge anymore, it was about reclaiming my narrative and ensuring Liam faced some consequences for his calculated cruelty. Chloe and I reviewed the plan one last time. No anonymous emails. No social media blasts. A direct, professional approach targeting the one thing Liam truly valued, his standing at the firm. Amelia's advice was key, frame it as a concern about judgment, reputation, and potential liability. I drafted an email to Marcus. It was polite, professional, and utterly devastating. Subject, confidential concern regarding Liam, last name S. Conduct. Dear Mr. Marcus's last name. My name is Maya, my last name. Until recently, I was in a long-term relationship with Liam, last name. I am writing to you directly, and with considerable reluctance, due to concerns about behavior Liam has exhibited following our separation, which I believe demonstrate poor judgment and could potentially reflect negatively upon the firm. While the details of our personal breakup are complex, Liam's subsequent actions have included a significant volume of harassing communications, texts, emails, messages across multiple platforms, including professional ones like LinkedIn, sent during and outside of work hours, subsequent to my request to cease contact. Attached, Appendix A, communication log and samples attempts to manipulate mutual acquaintances and colleagues by disseminating a deliberately false narrative regarding our separation and my character. Attached, Appendix B, corroborating communications the non-consensual sharing of a private photograph of me on his public social media profile, accompanied by a caption containing misleading and unprofessional statements. This raises concerns about his understanding of digital privacy and ethical conduct online, which could have reputational implications for the firm by association. Attached, Appendix C, Instagram post screenshot and analysis a pattern of unsolicited commentary regarding my personal life and appearance, culminating in public humiliation at a business dinner you attended on, date of dinner. While I initially dismissed this as a personal matter, his continued targeting suggests a concerning pattern of behavior. My intention is not to interfere in Liam's career path. However, his lack of discretion, poor judgment in handling personal conflict, and potentially harassing behavior, including the misuse of digital platforms, compel me to share this information, as it may be relevant to his suitability for positions requiring significant responsibility and ethical conduct. Thank you for your time and consideration of this sensitive matter. Sincerely. Maya, my last name, my phone number, my professional email address. I attached the appendices, sanitized screenshots, email excerpts, the Instagram post, even Sarah's text, carefully framed as examples of the narrative Liam was spreading. I read it over about 50 times. Chloe, read it. We tweaked phrasing, ensuring it was factual, unemotional, and focused on professional implications. Then, I hit send. The silence afterwards was deafening. For 2 days, nothing. I started to doubt myself. Had I gone too far? Would Marcus just delete it? Would he tell Liam, making everything worse? I was a nervous wreck, jumping every time my phone buzzed. On the 3rd day, I got a call from an unknown number. My heart leapt into my throat. I answered hesitantly. Maya, my last name? The voice was curt, female. Speaking. This is HR from, firm name. Mr. Marcus's last name, forwarded us your email. We are taking your concerns very seriously and have initiated an internal review. We may need to speak with you further. Are you available for a brief call tomorrow? An internal review. It was happening. We had the call. It was formal, slightly sterile. They asked clarifying questions about the timeline, the nature of the communications, the Instagram post. They were particularly interested in the use of LinkedIn and the volume of text during work hours. I answered honestly, sticking to the facts documented in my appendices. They thanked me for bringing it to their attention and assured me the matter would be handled internally according to company policy. They didn't tell me what would happen to Liam. A week later, Amelia emailed me, just wanted you to know. Liam was called into a meeting with Marcus and HR yesterday. He came out looking like death. Today, his nameplate is gone from his desk. Seems the promotion is definitely off the table and possibly more. He was gone. Fired? Forced to resign? I didn't know the specifics, and frankly, I didn't need to. Knowing he hadn't gotten away with it, that his actions had real-world consequences beyond just hurting me, was enough. It wasn't a celebratory feeling, exactly. More like a quiet, profound sense of relief. Justice, maybe? Or just the satisfying click of a narrative falling into place, his narrative, the one where he was the victim, completely collapsing under the weight of his own actions. A few days after that, my phone buzzed. An unknown number. Blocked. Then another. Blocked. Then an email from a burner account, subject line, you ruined my life. I deleted it without opening. His words had no power anymore. The healing wasn't instant, of course. Betrayal leaves scars. But the process of standing up for myself, gathering evidence, thinking strategically, and taking calculated action had changed something in me. The vulnerable, slightly naive woman who walked into that restaurant felt like a lifetime ago. I was stronger, more discerning, less willing to tolerate blinking neon signs disguised as little things. I didn't need his validation, his apologies, or even his acknowledgement of wrongdoing. I had my closure. It wasn't in hearing him say sorry, it was in knowing I had taken back control. I had defended my worth, not by arguing with him, but by refusing to let his definition of me stand. I took the money I'd been saving for the deposit on the apartment Liam and I were supposed to share and enrolled in an advanced digital marketing course I'd been eyeing. Something just for me. Chloe and I celebrated with champagne, good champagne, not the cheap stuff, and deleted every single photo I had of Liam from my phone and cloud storage. It felt like wiping the slate clean. The whole ordeal was awful, truly. But weirdly, I'm grateful for the clarity it brought. I learned about my own resilience, the importance of trusting my gut, and the difference between love and control. And I learned that sometimes, the best way to win isn't to stoop to their level, but to rise above it with receipts. Liam thought he was writing the end of my story that night. Turns out, he just wrote himself out of it. And my next chapter? It's looking pretty damn good.